Chelsea are back to the Champions League. Welcome back to FFB, amigos. And today, a special game, special occasion, and a very, very special guest. We have Matt from the Stamford Sink. And I actually think he's going to be one of the best Chelsea YouTubers out there by far. He's just starting out and he's flying. I think he's going to do amazing. I'm very impressed with his knowledge, with his ability to communicate, with his fandom all around for Chelsea. Welcome to the channel, Matt. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks very much. What a robust and flattering introduction that was. Big fan. Lovely to be on board, mate. Thanks for having me on the channel.
Awesome, man. And I completely mean it. I think you're going to be one of the most important ones. I invite everybody that's out there to please follow him. You'll see what I'm talking about. Really good stuff. He's consistent. He's great. He's fun. You're really gonna enjoy it. I wanted to do. I'm very lucky. This is my first collab ever. I'm so happy and privileged to be able to do it with you, and in such a special occasion. Right now, it's been quite a while, and Chelsea are back into the Champions League finally. And after how many years? So how are you feeling about that? I guess that's the first thing.
First things first, man. I just can't wait to hear that song and know that it means that Chelsea are involved. Do you know what I mean? It's like hearing the Champions League song and being out of the Champions League is just super depressing, man. It's super depressing. So first and foremost, whatever happens, I am just glad that I'm gonna get to a few times this year, sit down, hear that song, songs in blue go out and do their thing. So yeah, it's been a while, man, but well up for it, mate. Very excited.
Doo, 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 doo. We're back. Yes, back. We're up where we belong. And on that matter, I could think of very few teams that I'd be excited. We're not starting out with some random team in a faraway country. We're starting with one of the legends of the Champions League, one of the big dogs, in Bayern Munich. What are your thoughts about having that as a first fixture?
I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, man. I think it's really good because it's a massive game, and that's just good for watching, right? Like, playing Paphos and whatever will be fun because we'll probably be likely to win those games. But for that true Champions League experience, you want to play the big teams. You want to play Barcelona. You want to play Bayern Munich. You want to, like, for instance, I know it's not the same, but to compare our run we had up to the Club World Cup final, do you know what I mean? There's like PSG, the only really big kind of superpower team that we played, and obviously we won, which was wicked. But that they got to play like Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid and all on the way to
Mm.
it, and it just makes it. If you win those games or you get through those games, not even just about winning. If we come away from this game with a draw, and that is part of the story that takes us as far into the competition that we will, that's so much better than just knowing we did it because we smashed Paphos 10-0. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, and I think we are players. We have a young team, as we know, and for them, the opportunity to face this opposition, they had a little bit of a taste with PSG, and I say yes, it was a final. We beat their butts, and it was amazing, and we came home with that title. But this is like the game that everyone. This is one of the games that you dream your whole life to play when you're playing FIFA, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
these guys, this is the first time that they're getting up there. This is the first time that they're going to hear that anthem at this level in a team that has a shot, arguably, against one of the legends. I was looking at the lineup for Bayern, potential lineup. I was looking at in the press and some interesting things there. How well do you think? I mean, of course, we're more focused on the Premier League and all that, but we've
Mm.
seen some purchases that they. I'm going to let you probably talk a little bit about that. There was one player that was linked to us that is there now, and how strong do you see that Bayern team? Because they've taken some steps since we saw them in the World Cup, which they didn't do, I think, that great. But since then, obviously, now they're in better form. The season has started, and they made some. They bought a couple of players that I actually am kind of jealous about.
Yeah, man, Michael Olise, the elephant in the room. It will be savage if he scores against us, obviously. I was so excited about Michael Olise, man. But at the end of the day, I'm equally, if not more excited about Estevao Willian in the long term. Like,
Oof.
obviously, would you rather have Elise on the pitch than Estevao Willian now? I think that's a fair assumption to say yes, you would. But at the same time, Elise is such a good player, man. And he's probably maybe the biggest danger man. Do you know what I mean? He's maybe the biggest danger man. Obviously, Harry Kane, you can never write out, and Luis Diaz has been playing really well for them as well.
Yeah.
I think the scary thing with Bayern is how quickly it's all come together for them, because they went through kind of a tough period, didn't they?
Mhm.
And Vincent Kompany's come in and really steadied the ship, man, for such an inexperienced manager. You got to give him his props. And they do have a mix of European talent, youth, experience. Do you know what I mean? It's like they've kind of got everything that you could ask for in a big, potentially Champions League winning team. So it's going to be a hard game. Obviously, we all know about Harry Kane. He scored 8 goals for them already this
Yeah.
season. It's like, he is just on, like, I said it in my match preview on my channel. He just seems to be, every now and again you get a player like Zlatan Ibrahimovic was one of them, when they just seem to, they're fine wine, man. They just keep getting better, don't they? And Harry Kane, yes, arguably the Bundesliga is a bit less strong than the Premier League, but Harry Kane is showing no signs of slowing down, and that's a real worry.
Not at all. And I look, arguably, I think he's the best striker. Some people say Mbappe, but even though he's playing that position, I don't see him as that position. And I actually watched that game against Hamburg in preparation for this, which was psychologically a little damaging. But of course, Hamburg is an up and coming team. They just came in. I think they just got promoted.
Yeah.
But to see a couple of things there, and that of Harry Kane is it's amazing when he drops deep what he can do, because that's the extra thing, right? I mean, he can ping one from outside the box or smash one from 40 yards away. He's going to beat you in the air. He can finish one-on-one. He can do a tap in, and he can drop into it as a 10 with a mean pass and hold up play. And that was a little terrifying, especially because they have already come with players that they had before, like Kingsley Coleman and such, that they had really fast players. Fortunately, Davies is not around that can come on the overlap, and somebody that can hold up play like that. And yeah, and I think Diaz is a little terrifying how quick. It's like he's been playing there for years. He came in and he played. And Ganarmi also, like they just seem to be flowing. So I think that's scary in attack. But I did see a couple of things. And yeah, for us as Chelsea fans, we have a young team. And when I see this, it's a little, oh, they have a Neuer in the back, right? As old as he is, and they have a presence of a Kane and stability, and they have Kimmich in the middle and Upamecano in the back, which is very experienced. Todd that they brought in from Leverkusen. So interesting. But I did see a weakness that I'm hoping to exploit, and this is going to be my. I don't know if I call it a weakness, but on the left back, Davies being out, and I think Guerrero, which is the other left back, is normally out
Yeah.
as well. So Stanisic is filling in behind Luis Diaz, and that would be a place where we can potentially take advantage of that on our right wing. And going back to Estevao, I think this is the kind of game that would change that conversation. I don't know. Have you heard anything? Is he going to play? Because I think there was a little bit of doubt.
Yeah, so he had an illness, which is why I didn't even make the bench for the
Yeah.
Brentford game. But he has been seen training with the team.
I saw
Um,
training today. Yeah.
yeah. So as far as I'm aware, he's available. Whether that means he's going to get into the starting lineup or not, I'm not sure. But pretty much everyone is actually available now, apart from the obvious ones in
Yeah.
Lindelap, Levi Colwill, and now Dario Asugo, who recently just
Yeah.
had surgery
Sad.
after the international break. Yeah.
It's going to be a long one there, too.
Mm.
Yeah. Look, I think there's an opportunity that I don't know if we'll drop Cole Palmer on the right to exploit that space. I think that's where we can find some luck. Although on the other, I think the right back also is not their traditional right back that they normally go, and it's the center back. But they put German press, which using Google Translate here, I'm seeing, but they're going to play like Kimmich and Pavlovic in the middle as well. So I think they're going to have a lot of defensive prowess behind that line of attacking four. And
Mm.
I think Caicedo is going to be, as always, crucial for us. He is my favorite player. Ecuadorian heritage, as you know.
Yeah.
I think he is a difference maker. But I think it's important that we have more presence in that midfield. And I think this is a game that could change the conversation, man. Because we say Michael Olise, Harry Kane. This is the game. This is the game where if Estevao shows up and he puts a couple of people to shame and he scores a goal or two, immediate stardom, right? I think he's certainly capable of that. Um, who do you think is going to be our most important player for this match?
Cucurella for me. Cucurella is often for me, genuinely, Cucurella is often a lot of the time the most important player. Like you've just seen what he did for Spain. Do you know what I mean? So the thing with a player like Cucurella is because Bayern, yes, okay, maybe their fullbacks aren't their archetypal fullbacks as usual, but
Mm,
you know Kimmich and Upamecano, and they've got lots of very good defenders and stuff.
yeah.
If we're struggling to get in the game with our attackers, Cucurella is the kind of player that you can then not expect, but he can deliver in these big moments and these big events as well. So I think also for keeping Elise locked down. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Cucurella has kind of got a dual function at the very least. In he's going to be really important in does Michael Elise get any wiggle room to make stuff happen for Bayern Munich? And also if our attack is struggling because they're defending really well, Cucurella is that kind of player that can just magically arrive in the box out of nowhere and score a goal and offer something unexpected. You can't prepare for Cucurella doing that. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
never in a team's game plan to be like, oh yeah, and we need to make sure that Cucurella doesn't get any space because then all of a sudden you're leaving one of the other attackers free and stuff. And Cucurella has shown, I mean, he scored 7 goals last season, man. Do you know what I mean? 7 goals last season.
Yeah, there's a
So
time that he was carrying us, to be honest, offensively, which is
yeah,
insane.
yeah. We haven't had anyone that good at fullback since Ivanovic, who, in his pomp, also scored 7 goals in a season. So you know what I mean. That's the kind of levels we're talking about with Cucurella and how good he is. I do have a question about regarding Estevao, just about what you said. So you're saying that this is the game that Estevao can arrive as a superstar if he does well. Does that work in the reverse as well? Do you think that Estevao will get some flack from the media and the fans if he has a poor showing against Bayern Munich?
No, I
If
think
he
he's got a
plays.
lot of credit in the bank right
Yeah,
now. Like I think it'll be disappointing. It'll be, I think, Chelsea fans. I think we'll be sad. It's like, okay,
yeah,
but I think we'll be willing to give him a few runs at it. I think more he's still an unknown. I mean, we're calling him Neymar, right? And but that's us Chelsea fans. We're seeing him as the next Neymar. We're getting overexcited as we always do. But I think in the world, everybody knows, especially in South America, in the South American qualifiers, Brazil did really poorly
mm,
for almost until very recently. As a matter of fact, Ecuador got in ahead of them, second behind Argentina. So
yeah,
Brazil really struggled, and they made it in only with two fixtures to go, which is rare.
yeah,
And he hasn't been a name that has been drawing that. They see him as a young up and coming player. So I think this is actually the first time, even counting those qualifiers, where if he would have a magical match, his name shows up. And if he doesn't, I think there'll be a lot of patience. I mean, he's very young, and I think they haven't built him up other than Chelsea fans yet enough to where they want to bring him down. So I think he's
yeah.
got a little bit of grace still.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm not 100% sure that he's going to get the start, to be honest. There's a few
Yeah.
reasons for that. Um, I think as well, it's like at the beginning of the season, even before he'd come in and stuff, when he would literally when he was still at Palmeiras, I was the one constantly saying we can't put too much pressure on him. He's
Yeah.
18 years old, even if he is good, and I'm finding myself getting carried away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Despite all of the warnings that I gave myself, I am turning into a massive hypocrite because I'm like, I just want to see him start. I just want to see him
We're the
start.
problem. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I'll tell you, don't put pressure on him. But yeah, can you start against Bayern Munich?
I think I think he'll come on. I think he'll 100% have a part to play in the game. I think that it is very expected that he'll feature, but I think giving him, for instance, I think it's more likely he'll get 90 minutes against Man U because
Mm,
that's a high profile game, but not as high profile. Do you know what I mean? And it gives him a little bit more rest time. Obviously, he played a lot in the international break. He was ill, so even if he's been training and stuff, the thing is, like, you try and figure it all out, but at the end of the day, Moises Caicedo, like you mentioned him before, he keeps being a one that absolutely you never know what's going on with him, man. He doesn't train for a week before the Fulham game, plays the whole 90 minutes, misses out with Ecuador, and then all of a sudden
yeah,
he's playing the full 90 minutes against Brentford. Do you know what I mean?
right.
So it is really difficult to call at the moment because those kind of normal things that you could rely on, like, oh, we didn't see him, or he was injured, or he was ill, or whatever, it all just seems to be going out the window now. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very hard to predict.
Yeah, and I think it comes into play also because uh, the way Bayern is set up is very similar to us. The joy is set to come from the wings, right?
Yeah.
The joy and the pain, because I've always said Chelsea, our pain is in transition when but it's against a low block. So this is a different. If
Mm.
they give us space, that's what PSG did. They made the
Yeah.
mistake giving us space, and that's something. So I really hope Bayern gives us the space because it might be a high scoring thing, but we got a bit of a shot. But the joy or the pain in transition defensively, we sometimes get hurt when they attack us. They counter us wide, and then we're one-on-one with our central defenders. But having said that, if we're not talking Estevao is going to go on that wing, what are you saying, my friend Matt? Are you saying that we're going to shift Palmer to the right? Are you saying we're going to put Pedro there? What are I know what maybe I'm not even asking what you want because we know that
No.
Maresca is good at I mean, he exchanges players, he recycles even in big games. So, do you think you'll
I
go with the team you and I would put together, which everybody knows what it is, right? It's going to be James, Cucurella, the Fernandez. Like, there's no surprises for us. What do
so
you think he's going to do?
so for a start, I actually don't think James is going to start this one either. I think Malagusto is.
Ooh, then we're
And
gambling on speed from the beginning.
yeah, I think fresh legs, man, because again, James played both of England's international games and featured for a fair chunk of the Brentford game as well.
Right.
And we are not out of the woods of not, we still need to be careful with Reece James because look at the issues we're having
Yeah.
with, Lavia, for instance. Like
Not
Reece
good.
James is definitely, yeah, exactly. Reece James is definitely able to play a lot more, and we saw that last season. And I think we'll see him play a bit more this season than he did last season as well. But at the same time, Reece James isn't going to. I'd be surprised, and again, I could be surprised. I just said it about Caicedo, but at the same time, I would be surprised if Reece James played 4 games back to back. Bearing in mind
Wow,
how, do you know what I mean?
how long
So
that's
I think.
been.
I think Reece James is a question mark at the very least. I happen to think Malagusto is going to start just because he's the freshest. I also think that Palmer and Pedro Neto, I think Pedro Neto will go on the right, and I think Garnacho gets the start, man. If I'm honest.
Dude, you know what? I'm not a fan of Garnacho in any way, and not about his football, but I think there's this, especially like in Latin America, they speak about it too, that
Mm,
there's these people that could be troublesome with the outside, the extracurriculars, and maybe the locker room, and that makes me really nervous for Chelsea because it's a young team. They're starting to build up on that, and I'm hoping that's not the case, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt or everybody else. But in terms of skill and what I've seen from Gittins, it's like to me, it's not even a to me, it's not even a conversation, man.
no, man.
His leagues beyond Tyreek George that can play there, or Jeremy or Gittins, absolutely. So, but that would be pretty much his first game because he came in for a cameo, really, last match.
Yeah, but he played 49 games last season, so he's not a strained. He's fit. He's got gas in the tank. Do you know what I mean? A bit of an engine about him. He didn't play as much towards the end of that season, and
Yeah,
obviously had a reasonable break over the summer compared to most people as well. So if anyone is fresh and ready and kind of has, not big game experience, do you know what I mean? But Man United's a big team, regardless of whatever you say. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, if the option is, do we put Estevao Willian on the right? Now, I do think that would be a really good idea because if you see Estevao on the right, then what you've got is the ability to use Estevao and Cole Palmer on the right at the same time and interchanging with each other. And
yeah.
maybe that is the key that unlocks the left side and the weakness, like you spoke about, 100%. Like that would be a great tactical thing, I think. But when we've got all of these games coming thick and fast and stuff, Garnacho is going to start playing at some point. And is the Man United game an actual bigger game, specifically
For him.
vis-a-vis Garnacho for him? Do you know what I mean? So is it actually better to play him against Bayern Munich and not put the pressure on him for the United game because there'll be so much heat in the event and the moment and stuff? Do you know what I mean?
I'm so happy that we're having that conversation. That sentence was beautiful. We're playing Bayern Munich. Like I'm so happy to be here again. I'm going to say that 1,000 times, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm really worried on that left wing. To be honest, I haven't seen. I think that's a bit of a weakness that we have right now. But I think
Mhm.
until a couple of people come back, Garnacho's the solution. And I don't know. I'll see if we play him. And I think a player that has taken a beating, in my opinion, is Malo Gusto. I think last season, I think fans were a little too tough on him and unfair, forgetting that he's young. Not only that he's young, but he's asked to play a very complex way of
Mhm.
playing that position. Chelsea's
Yeah.
probably demands more of their right back and left back than any other team probably in the world. Not even physically, but tactically.
Yeah,
And he's a
100%.
young player. And I think he was the key player that nobody speaks about against PSG that
Yeah.
led to us destroying them because he terrified one of the best left backs in the world by running at him. And I
Yeah.
think that's maybe something that you're right. he might start for that reason, give Reece James some legs. So that'll be interesting. I don't know. How do you feel about Malagusto?
I think I was pretty hard on Malagusto last season. One thing or the other, before I say anything else, man needs to stop shooting because he just can't do it. He just can't do it. It is he forced an own goal in the Club World Cup. I can't even remember which team it was against, but that's literally the closest he's come, like
Count.
at all, to scoring a goal. So Malagusto for me, in retrospect, trying to be open-minded and objective about it, has been more of a victim of the positions he's been being asked to play than he is
Yeah.
of his talent and ability. Because when he was under Pochettino, he played as a more standard right back and did it. And Reece James was not really available that season at all.
Mhm.
Malagusto looked great. Maresca comes in, and Malagusto is asked to play in a similar way to how we asked Cucurella to play, where it's like, oh, start as a right back, but be a number 8, be a number 10, be a number
Yeah.
6, be a left winger, be a shadow striker,
Yeah.
be all of these things. And I think it was maybe that was even more of like, again, in retrospect, even an experimental thing to kind of see what he can do. And we
Yeah.
were all losing our minds about Malagusto when he was playing badly, trying to do all of this stuff. But from the PSG game, kind of onwards, every time Malagusto's been on the pitch, he's looked a lot better, but he's also been doing a lot less in terms of tactical
Mhm.
flexibility. He's been playing more as a right back. Occasionally, he's been brought on as a right winger to see out games and stuff as well. He maybe Maresca is finally seeing, although maybe he thought he had potential to do all this stuff, Malagusto is at his best when he's on the byline one way or the other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he
And
can
on the
maybe dip.
overlap. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. Maybe he can dip into midfield occasionally and fill in left back. Well, we've got Yarahato now, so hopefully he doesn't need to. But, coming on right wing, and maybe there's some versatility to be had with Malagusto. Ultimately, he's 22, 23. Picked him up for just short of £20 million. Like, what a buy, what a
Mhm.
great player. Really, really happy. And it would cost a lot of money. If we sold Malagusto and we wanted to buy someone that was
Mm.
exactly the same ability as him as right now, that cost a fortune. We've been paying 50
I
mil for
think
that.
that's when you remember and you start valuing your players. You'd be like, okay, sure, you don't love him, get rid of him. Who are you going to bring in? How much is it going
Yeah.
to cost you?
Yeah.
Because I think now he's experienced, he's grown a lot. And what you were saying before, I think is important. He was asked to play at like legend level, like
Mm.
because every game that he would come in, it was like, no, you're going to be this kind of right back today. The one that sits in as a double pivot. On this one, you're going to be the Cucurella right back. This one, yes, we're going to overlap on this one, and this one, like that's a lot to ask of any player,
Mm.
especially a young player.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there any doubt on the striker?
Watch out, Pedro. Only I wouldn't have thought so if I hadn't seen. It's only like a fleeting rumor. Like I read something the other day that apparently João Pedro asked not to play the Brentford game because he wasn't feeling 100%. And I do worry that we've backed ourselves into a corner where we have to play João Pedro. Do you know what I mean? Because of his output. Do you know what I mean? He just keeps, what was it? I mentioned it a while ago in one of my videos. João Pedro scored 5 open play goals for Brighton all of last season, and he's already scored 6 for Chelsea in the space of like 2 months. Do you know what I mean? His output has been ridiculous. And it's kind of like, he can't take the game off because there's no Liam Delap. And yes, we brought Mark Yu back, but you can't start Mark Yu against Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Mark Yu's going to
I
be a
hope not.
really, yeah, man. Do you know what I mean? Mark Yu's going to be a really useful player for sure.
Yeah, I believe in
Um,
him. I'm excited about Mark Yu, but yeah, you can't do that. And actually, now that you speak about Joe Pedro, I wanted to ask you. I saw some weaknesses in the last game, and I think it might be down to playing a lot of minutes, and he wasn't as sharp. I mean, he was
yeah.
still running. He was dropping, I think, a little too deep at times.
Mhm.
What I love that he's brought to the team and Estevao too that is risky is they'll play a flick
Yeah.
quickly in possession. Like they'll with their back turned, they'll flick the ball instead of making that pass that ends up playing side to side with. And almost none of them worked out for him that day. And I don't know if that was he was tired or what was going on. But I hope he ate his Cheerios and his cereal and his full English for this match.
Yeah. I mean, I think he played both games for Brazil as well, didn't he?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
and I
just
think
one.
Brazil was away to Bolivia, and that's the thing. And sometimes they forget Bolivia plays at 4,000 meters. Their stadium is at 4,000 meters above sea level. That's where planes fly. Like you have no oxygen there. It's a bad field. It's a long flight. It's really rough. Caicedo came in the day before the match, for example.
Yeah.
Those are long distances in South America, and honestly, that terrifies me, especially Caicedo, because we've really whooped him. Like he's played so many minutes all the time. And his game, you can see his hamstrings stretch with those very long recoveries that he does, those tackles. Like,
Yeah.
like
You know
thanks,
the
amazing,
thing.
but
You know the thing that gets me about Caicedo as well, man, is every single time he gets tackled or fouled or something, he's a very reactionary guy in the way that he goes down and looks like he's in a lot of pain, even if he gets up seconds later. And
yeah,
every single time someone touches him, I'm like, oh no, no, no,
yeah.
no. And then a few seconds later, I'm like, no, yeah, okay, he's okay, he's okay.
I'm
But yeah,
hoping now. I'm hoping now with Isugo Lavia, like there's some coverage there. I mean, I don't think there's any player probably or very few. I'm gonna dare say any like him right now in the world. Certainly not in the team, but enough to carry us if he does need a break, which he will need this year for sure.
yeah, yeah. I think every big team, Premier League, and maybe outside of that as well, that has done well in the last sort of 5 or 6 years has based a lot of that success around that number six. And that's not to say that they all play the same way Caicedo does, but you just like, and even going back as far as the last time we won the league, and do you know what I mean, with Kante, the number six is such an important role, man. Gravenberch was huge for Liverpool last
Huge.
season. Rodri was the linchpin of Man City winning like 2-3 leagues in a row. Do you know what I mean? You know, even if you go really far back and you look at like Barcelona and Sergio Busquets, and do you know what I mean, is like that, having that world class number six is often a staple of like a solid team. So to have someone like Caicedo now at 23 years old, because when we got Kante, he was
Yeah.
like 25, 26, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So to have someone like Caicedo in the team right now, I think is really promising for at least the next 5 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's really exciting. And as a matter of fact, would you say that demand for the DMs was interesting because when we bought Caicedo, there was like an arms race. Like there was a clear understanding that there's two or three in the whole planet. He was the next one up and coming, and we got into that bidding war with Liverpool, and that managed to get. I don't know how much they paid for Endo. That I'm going because there wasn't even many to go around. Not even forget like world class. There
Yeah.
wasn't many to go around, and it certainly paid off for Chelsea. And you know, there's not many. I think Newcastle is struggling, which they had that position covered a little bit, but
Yeah.
now they haven't. So look, I'm lucky that we have 'em.
Mm.
Having said that, man, okay, blue tinted glasses off. What's the prediction for this match?
I think we're gonna lose, man. I think we're gonna lose. I think it will be a well fought 2-0 loss, if I'm honest. I think that their attacking players are not necessarily better. Like Cole Palmer can play in any team in the world. You put Cole Palmer in Bayern Munich and makes them a better
Yeah,
team. Do
he
you know what I
plays.
mean? But their entire attacking unit is full of goals. And I just feel like what I'm worried about is being pinned back so much by their attackers that we don't get the opportunity to even have our guys in there. So I think we might even defend quite well to get those, you know, to only concede 2 goals. But I mean, Chalobah, Tosin, maybe Malagusto, do you know what I mean? Is like by far and away, if Reece James doesn't play, Cucurella is the best defender we've got, and of the other three, it's not close. Do you know what I mean? It's not close. So I think these are the kind of games where, like, I think we can do well in the Premier League and over a season with Chalobah and Tosin, and I'm not bringing them down at all. But this is the big leagues, man. This is the real big leagues. Do you know what I mean? And for two players that are only just kind of formulating their partnership together, because it's been Levi
Yeah,
Colwill for the last 2 years. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? It is a really big ask. We got Tosin on a free from Fulham.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So there's not this like Van Dijk level expectation with
yeah.
Tosin. I'm not doing him a disservice because at the end of the
No,
day,
no,
he's massively overachieved and is
agreed.
performing really well based on what we were expecting to get from him. And based in when he came to Chelsea, he probably never thought that he was going to be that guy. Do you know what I mean? He
And
was
he's
like,
that
yeah,
guy. And I heard even in the locker room, like it's a huge deal for him. And I think, look, and Trevor Chalva, it's probably I wouldn't dare say my favorite player, but I love the guy, and he's been
yeah, me
asked a
too.
lot. Now
Mm,
he's playing again out of position. He's always saving our butt, and I think Chalobah would be the player that Chelsea fans say this a lot. If he would be sitting next to a Thiago Silva, he would be monstrous, right? If
yeah,
but you can't have two of those because we could
yeah,
the same something similar could be said about Dawson. The
Yeah.
problem is that we need that one
Yeah.
beast inside, and then we're a little bit vulnerable, especially because of how we play. Because in that far post, be it Gusto or Cucurella, they might be on the other side of the field at any given at any given moment. And
Yeah.
I saw interesting a few matches ago as well. Um, Caicedo drop in as a center back when that happens to us.
Mm.
The two center backs split a little bit wide, and he covers that space in the middle.
Yeah.
So yeah, against these, I mean, I'm looking at the names. I have it right here: Olise, Narby, Diaz, Kane. Yeah, that's a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
So yeah, how are you thinking we're gonna do then broadly? If that's the result you think we're gonna get here,
I think
given the
broadly we'll
fixtures and where we're at?
I think broadly will be good. Is if I'm honest, like a lot of what I'm basing my idea of how this game is going to go on is not necessarily the team and our players. It's where we are in the story with them. Do you know what I mean? Is João Pedro still really new? Estevao still so young and got a bed in. Two new left wingers in Jamie Gittins and Alejandro Garnacho. Tosin taking a leadership role that probably was never really expected of him when he signed. Do you know what I mean? For me, there's so much nuance. Like if I just look at our players on paper, I'm like, we've got a wicked team. And I think if we had this game in 3 months' time, I think I might have a different feeling about it. Do you know what I mean? I believe these players can 100%, and this team can 100% be good enough to defeat Bayern Munich. I
Yeah.
100% do believe that. I just think the players juxtaposed against where the story of each of them is now and how they're fitting into the team, and we just come off the back of an international break and a draw against Brentford, and do you know what I mean? I just think there's so much against them narratively for me to really say, yeah, I think we've got this. Like, and you know what? The truth is, I felt the same way about PSG, and I was very, very happy to be wrong. I am, at the end of the day, we always say it, don't we? We've got such a young team. We've got the youngest team in the Premier League. We've got the second youngest team in Europe, next to Strasbourg, interestingly enough. Uh, and it's just one of those things, man. Like Bayern Munich have got some youth on their side, but they have got dominating experience and a relentless manager who, if I think we've got one chance of winning this game, it will be because of the dogged tactical instruction of Vincent Kompany, because he got Burnley relegated because he refused to change his game plan.
Mm.
So what I don't think is going to happen with Kompany and Bayern Munich, I don't think they're going to come and adapt their game to play Chelsea. I think that Vincent Kompany is, we play this way, we go. I don't care what anyone else does. We play through, we break down the walls, we batter down the team, and that is how Vincent Kompany has shown that that's kind of, he's not, really an adaptable guy. He's a system guy.
Yeah.
Maresca has shown that he's willing to adapt and stuff like that. So I think our chance in the game lies in that fact for me, that we've got players that can make magical things happen, and Maresca seems tactically adaptable and might be smart enough to, well, obviously be smart enough. He's much smarter than I am. Do you know what I mean? But just to look at how Bayern Munich plays and not necessarily expect surprises. It's not about, what are they going to do today? It's about looking at their firepower and how strong it is, and just seeing if there's something we can eke out of it.
Yeah, I think this Bayern Munich, it's really a new version from just a couple of months ago. It's harder for me to figure out than what Chelsea may be to them. I think Chelsea, you know what you're getting, but what you're getting is a bit of a wild card. So I actually think we can win in Munich tomorrow, or we can lose 3-0. I think that's the problem with a young team like that. The reality is, if they go out motivated and Bayern makes one mistake and gives us space in the back, we have young players that fly. Like if you get Pedro that space, that dude runs at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And as long as we finish, you can lose this game 3-0 Bayern Munich if we get a little too froggy. So, but at the same time, that's what I'm saying. I think we, as a one-off game, it's impossible to predict Chelsea can totally beat you at home, especially because you say if he does stay stubborn and he wants to attack, then that'll give us an opportunity. But on the other hand, same thing. I think we're a little weak in our defensive transitions, which we're going to have to deal with a couple of times at this match, and certainly in the back set pieces. I'm really scared of. I think it affected our morale. Those long throw-ins that we had to deal with last week, which was shocking to watch. Like what an interesting little weapon to have that comes like at a cheat code or something.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that in a while. So I think we're a little shaky there, even mentally. But I'm really excited about that. And broadly in the Champions League, I think we have a better shot of doing better in the Champions League than in the Premier League. That's me stating that right now because
Yeah, I agree.
we have this league thing, and I think we have enough to make it through even with our peaks and valleys.
Yep.
And then it's a matter of, 6 games or 5 games or whatever it is. And dude, we can make it happen under those conditions. The Premier
The,
League is going to be really tough for
the
us.
only other Champions League game I'm concerned about is Napoli. I think Bayern Munich and Barcelona. I think if they're the only two teams we lose against, I think we'll have a pretty good chance of building momentum. But I think the Napoli game is such a question mark that's really gonna.
It's funny you say that. Yeah, I'd be more scared of Napoli or like even an Atletico Madrid over than somebody comes and runs at us. Like if you're gonna give us space, fair shot. But if you know how to create a low block, Brentford style, but you have the quality of a Napoli then man, I don't know what that means for us. Like because hopefully in the next couple of months, we're gonna have a lot of practice against cracking a low block again this season.
Yeah.
So, and we do have those different players, like we said, Joao and Estevao, those little flakes. Those things, I think those are the difference makers. And then we're gonna force teams to play a little bit different against us. Let's hope.
Mm.
So, look, Matt, really excited. Thank you for joining. Everybody out there, again, follow the Stanford Sync. I just caught Matt's channel out of the blue, and I think he's one of the better content creators that we have out there. Certainly, as Chelsea fans, again, knowledge and fun. He's very consistent. It's great. Please go follow his channel. We're going to put it in the description below. And very excited to have you. Thank you so much, man. I hope we can continue to do these. We got a lot to talk about. Before the video, we were even fighting or arguing about stuff. Maybe we can do it in front of people. They can take
Yeah, for
sides.
sure. Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.